Ladies and gentlemen, we are raised in a world that tells us kindness is paramount. From the moment we can speak, we are taught to be generous, to be compassionate, and to always put others before ourselves. But today, I ask you to consider a powerful idea. An idea that may seem contradictory at first, but one that holds profound value for your personal growth and success. Kindness is often perceived as an essential virtue, something that should be freely given without hesitation or condition. It is often taught as a moral obligation, encouraged in every interaction, and expected to flow naturally from one person to another. However, there is great power in being selective with your kindness. To understand this, we must first grasp the true nature of kindness and how its value can be magnified when given intentionally. Kindness is not just a passive, automatic reaction to others. It is a conscious choice. When we offer kindness indiscriminately, we may feel good in the moment, but its long-term effects are often diluted. When kindness is spread too thin, it loses its impact. This is because true kindness, the kind that has lasting value, is most effective when given with discernment. By selectively choosing when and to whom we extend our kindness, we ensure that it is directed towards individuals who genuinely appreciate it and can benefit from it. Selective kindness allows you to prioritize your energy. Every act of kindness, whether it's lending an ear or offering help or simply showing empathy, requires emotional and mental energy. When you're kind to everyone, you spread yourself thin, and over time this can lead to burnout. You might find yourself constantly drained offering kindness to people who either take it for granted or don't reciprocate. The energy you give may not always be returned, and this imbalance can erode your sense of self-worth. By becoming selective, you safeguard your energy and direct it towards people and situations that will nourish you in return. Moreover, selective kindness helps you preserve your resources, whether that's time, attention, or emotional availability. Not every person you encounter is worthy of your time and efforts. Some may take your kindness as a weakness, exploiting your willingness to help without ever offering anything in return. Others may only seek your kindness for their own benefit, with no intention of ever supporting you in your moments of need. When you are selective about who you offer kindness to, you ensure that your resources are invested wisely in people who share mutual respect and understanding. By being intentional with your kindness, you also set clear boundaries. It becomes easier to distinguish between people who genuinely need help and those who seek to manipulate your kindness. Boundaries are not walls. They are healthy limits that preserve your well-being. They allow you to say no when necessary, protecting you from becoming overwhelmed. When kindness is offered with intention, it is not an obligation but a conscious decision. This decision empowers you to take control of your interactions and to protect your emotional space. Another significant benefit of selective kindness is that it deepens the quality of your relationships. Instead of spreading yourself too thin across many superficial interactions, your kindness becomes more concentrated and therefore more impactful. People who receive your kindness will feel it on a deeper level. It's no longer just an automatic response, but a thoughtful gesture that comes from a place of care and intentionality. This kind of kindness fosters trust and strengthens relationships, whether in personal or professional settings. Furthermore, being selective with kindness enhances your personal growth. When you choose to offer kindness to others in a meaningful way, you challenge yourself to be more discerning, more empathetic, and more attuned to the needs of those around you. You begin to understand that kindness is not just about giving. It is also about knowing when to hold back, when to give space, and when to step aside. It is about practicing discernment and wisdom, which are qualities that lead to maturity and greater emotional intelligence. Selective kindness ultimately enables you to lead a life of greater fulfillment. By directing your kindness towards those who genuinely deserve it, you create an environment where compassion, respect, and understanding flourish. This intentional approach allows you to form deeper connections with people who share your values and uplift you in return. It is an investment in quality, not quantity. fostering relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and care. In a world that constantly demands more from us, protecting your energy is one of the most important practices you can adopt. Energy is a finite resource, and how we manage it directly impacts our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. We all have experienced times when we felt drained, overwhelmed, or simply burned out, often because we gave too much of ourselves to others, to situations, or to commitments that didn't serve us in return. This depletion of energy, if not carefully managed, can leave us feeling powerless and unable to reach our true potential. The concept of protecting your energy is not just about self-preservation, but about ensuring that the energy you do have is spent in ways that align with your goals, values, and sense of purpose. One of the first steps in protecting your energy is understanding how and where your energy is spent. Every interaction, every task, and every decision you make requires energy. Think of your energy as a resource in a bank account. Each action is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Too many withdrawals without enough deposits leaves you bankrupt, exhausted, and unproductive. The first key to protecting your energy is recognizing when you are making withdrawals from your energy reserves. Are you engaging in relationships or commitments that leave you feeling drained? Are you spending time on things that don't align with your goals or values? Awareness is the first step in reclaiming control over your energy. Once you recognize where your energy is being spent, you can start to make more conscious choices. Protecting your energy requires you to set boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. We often think of boundaries as something we impose on others, but the most important boundaries are those we set internally. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect. It's the recognition that your time, focus, and emotional resources are valuable and you cannot give them away indiscriminately. Saying no to things that drain your energy is not selfish. It is an essential act of self-care that allows you to say yes to things that nurture and empower you. Another crucial aspect of protecting your energy is learning to detach from negativity. Negative emotions, thoughts, and environments are like toxic waste that contaminates your energy. The people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, and the environments you immerse yourself in all have a direct impact on your energy levels. If you spend too much time with people who are constantly complaining, gossiping, or engaging in drama, their negativity can seep into your own energy field, leaving you feeling depleted and mentally foggy. On the other hand, surrounding yourself with positive, supportive, and empowering people elevates your energy, helping you stay focused and motivated. Similarly, it's important to recognize the power of your own thoughts. Negative self-talk, doubt, and fear are powerful energy drainers. Every time you entertain self-limiting beliefs or focus on what's wrong rather than what's right, you are siphoning off your own energy. Shifting your mindset to one of positivity and possibility not only protects your energy but amplifies it. By focusing on what you can control, on opportunities rather than obstacles, you cultivate an internal environment that supports your growth and resilience. In addition to emotional and mental boundaries, protecting your physical energy is equally important. This involves taking care of your body through proper rest, nutrition, and exercise. Your body is the vessel through which all of your energy flows, and if you neglect it, you will quickly find your energy reserves running low. Sleep is one of the most important factors in restoring and replenishing your energy, yet it is often the first thing we sacrifice when we feel busy or stressed. Proper rest allows your body and mind to regenerate, preparing you to face the challenges ahead with clarity and focus. Similarly, regular exercise helps maintain physical vitality, while proper nutrition fuels your body with the energy it needs to function at its best. Finally, protecting your energy means learning to recharge. It's essential to create space in your life for activities that restore and replenish you, whether it's spending time in nature, practicing mindfulness, pursuing creative hobbies, or simply taking time to relax, these activities serve as deposits into your energy bank. They allow you to replenish your reserves so you can show up as your best self in every area of your life. Protecting your energy is not about withdrawing from the world or avoiding responsibility. It's about being intentional with how you spend your time, whom you spend it with, and what you allow to enter your mind and body. When you protect your energy, you not only preserve your well-being, but also empower yourself to make a greater impact on your life and the lives of others. At the core of a healthy and fulfilling life lies the practice of setting boundaries. Boundaries are not just about creating limits with others. They are a fundamental expression of self-respect and self-worth. Without boundaries, we risk overextending ourselves, neglecting our needs, and ultimately losing a sense of control over our own lives. Boundaries are an essential tool in maintaining personal integrity and ensuring that our relationships, commitments, and daily interactions align with our values, needs, and priorities. To truly understand the importance of boundaries, we must first recognize what they represent. Boundaries are essentially the lines we draw in the sand to protect our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. They are the rules we establish to govern how we allow others to treat us and how we treat ourselves. Establishing boundaries is an act of self-awareness, as it requires an understanding of our limits, desires, and values. It is also an act of self-love, as it shows that we honor ourselves enough to stand firm in our needs. One of the most significant benefits of setting boundaries is the protection they provide against emotional burnout. We live in a world that often encourages people to give, and give, whether it's at work, in relationships, or in the community. We are conditioned to believe that being selfless is a virtue. But when we constantly put others before ourselves, we can quickly deplete our emotional reserves. This exhaustion manifests as stress, resentment, and sometimes even physical health problems. By setting boundaries, we protect our energy, ensuring that we are not overwhelmed or drained by obligations that don't serve our well-being. Setting clear boundaries also fosters respect in our relationships. When we allow others to overstep our boundaries, whether it's by demanding our time, disrespecting our needs, or taking us for granted, we're sending a message that we do not value ourselves and how we expect to be treated. When we set and enforce boundaries, we teach others to respect us, and we create a dynamic where mutual respect can flourish. Healthy relationships are built on the foundation of respecting each other's needs, space, and individuality, and boundaries are the framework that makes this possible. At the same time, boundaries also encourage accountability, both with ourselves and others. They challenge us to take responsibility for our actions, desires, and commitments. When we establish clear limits, we are forced to be honest with ourselves about what we truly want and need. It becomes easier to say no when necessary, and we stop accepting situations that do not align with our values. For others, boundaries provide a clear understanding of what is acceptable behavior. They make it easier to communicate our limits and avoid misunderstandings that can lead to resentment or conflict. It's important to note that setting boundaries is not about building walls or isolating ourselves from others. In fact, boundaries are the opposite of isolation. They create healthy space where relationships can grow and thrive. By setting boundaries, we define where we end and others begin. This enables us to engage in relationships without losing ourselves in the process. When we don't establish boundaries, we risk merging with others, losing our sense of identity, and being overwhelmed by their needs or desires. Boundaries allow us to show up fully in relationships while still maintaining our individuality and sense of self. Establishing boundaries also enhances self-respect in a profound way. When we allow others to take advantage of us, overstep our limits, or disregard our needs, we send a message to ourselves that we are not worthy of respect. But when we enforce boundaries, we communicate that we value ourselves and will not tolerate behavior that undermines our worth. This act of self-respect reinforces our sense of self-esteem and empowers us to make choices that align with our best interests. The act of setting boundaries can be difficult, especially if we have been conditioned to please others or avoid conflict. However, it is essential to recognize that boundaries are not about being rigid or unyielding. They are about creating balance. They provide structure for our lives, enabling us to prioritize what truly matters and protect ourselves from harm. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, but the more we practice, the easier it becomes to communicate our needs and enforce our limits with confidence and clarity. In the long run, boundaries allow us to cultivate a life that is in alignment with our values, desires, and aspirations. By protecting our time, energy, and emotions, we create space for personal growth, fulfillment, and authentic connection with others. Setting and maintaining boundaries is an act of courage, a declaration that we deserve respect, care, and consideration, not just from others, but from ourselves. In a world that often glorifies abundance, fast-paced growth, and constant accumulation, it is easy to lose sight of one of the most fundamental principles for a meaningful and fulfilling life: quality over quantity. We live in a culture that celebrates the idea of having more friends, more achievements, more possessions, that the more we have, the better we are. However, this belief is flawed. The true measure of success and happiness lies not in the sheer number of things we accumulate or the volume of experiences we collect, but in the depth, value, and significance of what we choose to focus on. When we prioritize quality over quantity, we shift our mindset from accumulating superficial markers of success to cultivating meaningful and lasting achievements. Whether in our personal lives, careers, or relationships, quality is always more important than quantity. This principle helps us to focus our time, energy, and resources on what truly matters instead of being distracted by the noise of endless options or fleeting distractions. One of the most powerful areas where quality over quantity applies is in relationships. In today's world, we have access to more connections than ever before thanks to social media and instant communication. We can have hundreds or even thousands of friends, followers, or acquaintances. But the reality is that not all connections are created equal. In fact, many of these digital relationships are shallow, transactional, or superficial. While they may provide a sense of validation or social proof, they do not contribute to our true happiness or well-being. Focusing on quality means seeking out relationships that are meaningful, deep, and authentic. It's not about having a large social circle or maintaining numerous acquaintances, but rather investing in a small group of people who truly understand, support, and inspire you. Quality relationships are built on trust, mutual respect, and shared values. They are the kind of relationships that nourish our souls, challenge us to grow, and provide us with a sense of belonging and connection. The few deeply connected relationships we nurture are far more valuable than a sea of superficial connections that drain our energy and time. This idea also extends to our careers and personal pursuits. Many people chase after the idea of success by accumulating more titles, promotions, and accolades. However, true fulfillment comes not from the quantity of accomplishments, but from the quality of the work we do and the impact we have on others. The pursuit of excellence in a few areas will always be more satisfying than spreading yourself thin across numerous superficial tasks or goals. When we focus on quality, we are more likely to produce work that is meaningful, innovative, and impactful, work that brings us satisfaction and drives personal growth. It's about being proud of what we create and knowing that our efforts have made a difference, no matter how small the scope may seem. Moreover, quality over quantity applies to our experiences and how we choose to spend our time. In the hustle of daily life, we may find ourselves constantly rushing from one event to another, trying to do it all. We may go to multiple social gatherings, sign up for countless activities, or fill our calendars with endless appointments, all in an attempt to keep up with the expectations of others or societal pressures. But what is the point of accumulating numerous experiences if none of them are truly fulfilling? Time is one of our most precious resources, and it is far better spent on experiences that enrich our lives, deepen our knowledge, and bring joy to our hearts, even if those experiences are fewer in number. Focusing on quality also has profound benefits for our mental and emotional well-being. The constant chase for more can lead to stress, burnout, and dissatisfaction. When we focus on the quality of what we have, whether that's our possessions, our relationships, or our experiences, we experience a deeper sense of contentment and fulfillment. We begin to appreciate the value of the present moment, finding joy in the richness of life rather than the quantity of what we accumulate. Quality encourages mindfulness, helping us to slow down and be intentional with our choices. Another area where quality outweighs quantity is in personal development. Many people make the mistake of trying to learn everything, do everything, or master everything. They spread themselves too thin in an attempt to be good at everything. But the true path to mastery is found in focusing deeply on a few areas that align with our strengths, passions, and goals. Personal growth comes from consistent, deliberate practice and deepening knowledge in specific areas, rather than scattering our efforts across too many endeavors. Quality and self-improvement means investing in your own growth in a way that is meaningful and sustainable, rather than chasing every new trend or opportunity that promises quick results. Ultimately, the principle of quality over quantity teaches us the importance of intentionality. It encourages us to carefully consider where we invest our time, energy, and resources, rather than allowing the pressure to accumulate and do more to dictate our actions. It reminds us that in all areas of life, less can often be more. By focusing on fewer but more meaningful things, we create a life that is more aligned with our values, more fulfilling, and ultimately more successful in ways that truly matter. Empathy and discernment are two of the most important qualities a person can cultivate in life. Together, they allow us to connect deeply with others while maintaining a healthy sense of self and understanding. However, while empathy often receives praise for its ability to foster understanding and compassion, discernment is just as critical in ensuring that we offer our empathy in the right situations and to the right people. Without discernment, empathy can sometimes be misdirected, leading to emotional exhaustion or vulnerability to manipulation. In contrast, when paired with discernment, empathy becomes a powerful tool that nurtures both personal growth and the well-being of others. Empathy at its core is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It allows us to step into someone else's shoes, feel what they are experiencing, and offer support in a meaningful way. Empathy fosters connection and compassion, enabling us to support friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers in ways that can profoundly impact their lives. Whether it's comforting a loved one during a difficult time or offering understanding to a colleague struggling with a problem, empathy brings people closer and helps them feel heard and valued. Yet, empathy without discernment can lead to difficulties. Discernment is the ability to judge and understand situations wisely, to differentiate between what is truly beneficial and what may be detrimental. It is the skill of evaluating the needs of others, understanding their intentions, and making informed decisions about how to respond. Discernment allows us to decide when to offer our empathy, when to withdraw, and when to take a step back for our own well-being. Without discernment, we might give too much of ourselves, overextend our emotional resources, or allow others to take advantage of our good intention. Empathy and discernment work in tandem to help us maintain healthy boundaries. When we are empathetic, we often feel an emotional pull to help others, sometimes even to our own detriment. However, discernment helps us determine whether our help will actually benefit the other person or if it will enable harmful behavior. Sometimes people need space to solve their own problems or learn lessons on their own. Discernment allows us to understand when offering empathy will truly be supportive and when stepping back is the best course of action. In relationships, empathy without discernment can sometimes lead to unhealthy dynamics. For example, in romantic relationships, one person may be overly empathetic, constantly sacrificing their own needs to meet the needs of their partner. While empathy is essential in a relationship, without discernment, this behavior can lead to resentment, emotional burnout, or even codependency. Discernment allows us to recognize when our empathy is being misused or when it is time to assert our own boundaries. It enables us to offer care without losing sight of our own needs, fostering a more balanced and sustainable relationship. Empathy also requires discernment when it comes to understanding the underlying causes of another person's emotions or behavior. For example, someone might express anger or frustration, but discernment allows us to look deeper and recognize that these feelings may stem from pain, insecurity, or fear. By discerning the true nature of the person's feelings, we can respond with greater sensitivity and offer more meaningful support. In contrast, reacting to the surface-level emotions without considering their root cause could lead to misunderstanding, further conflict, or an inability to truly help the person in need. In professional settings, empathy combined with discernment can foster strong teamwork and leadership. A leader who possesses empathy is able to understand and respond to the needs of their team members, fostering a positive and supportive work environment. However, without discernment, they may find themselves taking on too many responsibilities or worse, enabling poor performance. Discernment helps the leader determine when to offer guidance, when to step in, and when to allow team members to take ownership of their work. It also helps leaders understand when to challenge their team and when to show patience, ultimately creating a culture of trust, growth, and productivity. Empathy is often seen as a purely emotional response, but discernment adds the crucial element of wisdom. It helps us understand that empathy is not always about giving. Sometimes it is about knowing when to step back, knowing when to listen rather than speak, or knowing when to allow space for others to grow on their own. When we develop both empathy and discernment, we become more compassionate, thoughtful individuals who understand how to care for others while also protecting our own emotional resources. Ultimately, empathy and discernment work together to ensure that we are not just emotionally present for others, but also wise in how we offer that presence. With discernment, empathy becomes a tool that strengthens relationships, promotes growth, and ensures that both our own needs and the needs of others are respected. It is through this balanced approach that we can build meaningful, supportive connections without compromising our own well-being. Assertiveness is a powerful and often misunderstood trait. Many people equate assertiveness with aggression or dominance, but true assertiveness is rooted in self-respect, confidence, and clear communication. It is the ability to express one's thoughts, feelings, and needs in an honest, direct, and respectful way, while also recognizing and respecting the rights and needs of others. Assertiveness is not about overpowering others or forcing one's will. Rather, it is about standing firm in your own truth and fostering a sense of mutual respect in interactions. The strength in assertiveness lies in its ability to create balance, establish boundaries, and facilitate healthier, more effective relationships. One of the primary strengths of assertiveness is the ability to establish and maintain boundaries. Healthy boundaries are essential for maintaining personal well-being and preserving emotional and mental health. Without assertiveness, it becomes challenging to set boundaries because there is often fear of conflict or upsetting others. Many people struggle to say no, fearing that they will disappoint others or that their refusal will lead to rejection. Assertiveness, however, provides the strength to establish clear and firm boundaries, even in the face of pressure or opposition. An assertive person knows that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect, and that doing so benefits both themselves and those around them by fostering honest, respectful relationships. Moreover, assertiveness enables individuals to communicate their needs and desires effectively. In many situations, people often suffer in silence because they are unable or unwilling to express what they truly want or need, whether it's in the workplace, within personal relationships, or in social settings. Failing to communicate effectively can lead to frustration, resentment, and misunderstanding. Assertive communication eliminates the guesswork, as it involves speaking up directly and clearly about one's needs, preferences, and feelings. This clarity allows for more transparent and productive conversations, leading to better outcomes for all parties involved. When people express themselves assertively, they are more likely to have their needs met and to feel heard and understood. The strength in assertiveness also lies in its ability to foster mutual respect. When a person is assertive, they do not disregard the needs or rights of others. They communicate with respect and consideration, understanding that others have their own needs and boundaries as well. This creates an environment where all parties feel valued and respected. Assertiveness allows individuals to engage in relationships based on equality, where both parties have the freedom to express themselves without fear of being belittled or ignored. In contrast, a lack of assertiveness can lead to passive behavior, where one person's needs are consistently overlooked, or to aggressive behavior, where one person's needs are imposed on others without regard for their feelings. In addition to creating better relationships, assertiveness also plays a crucial role in reducing stress. When people are passive or avoidant in their communication, they often suppress their emotions and needs. This suppression can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and feelings of powerlessness. On the other hand, when individuals are assertive, they're more likely to express their emotions and needs in real time, preventing the buildup of resentment or frustration. Assertive individuals are also better equipped to handle conflict constructively because they approach disagreements with a mindset of cooperation and mutual respect, rather than with defensiveness or hostility. This ability to address conflicts openly and calmly reduces the overall stress and tension in relationships. Furthermore, assertiveness enhances decision-making and problem-solving abilities. By being assertive, individuals are able to clearly communicate their thoughts, preferences, and concerns, which leads to better decision-making processes. When people are passive or overly accommodating, they may struggle to make decisions because they are constantly deferring to others or avoiding conflict. Assertive individuals, however, are able to evaluate situations objectively, express their opinions, and make choices that align with their values and goals. This confidence in decision-making empowers individuals to take control of their lives and create outcomes that are aligned with their personal aspirations. The strength in assertiveness also manifests in resilience. Life often presents challenges, whether in the form of setbacks, criticisms, or conflicts. Assertive individuals are more resilient because they are not easily swayed by external opinions or circumstances. They maintain their sense of self-worth and confidence even when faced with adversity. Instead of shrinking back or becoming defensive, they address challenges directly, seeking constructive solutions and maintaining a positive outlook. This resilience allows assertive individuals to navigate difficult situations with grace and strength, ensuring that they remain focused on their goals and values. Ultimately, assertiveness is a powerful tool for personal empowerment. It allows individuals to take control of their lives, communicate their needs, establish boundaries, and build healthier, more respectful relationships. Assertiveness is not about overpowering others, but about honoring both your own needs and the needs of others in a balanced, respectful way. When practiced with integrity and empathy, assertiveness becomes a source of strength, helping individuals navigate life with confidence, clarity, and resilience. In conclusion, embracing the power of assertiveness, empathy, discernment, and self-respect is key to creating a balanced, fulfilling life. These qualities empower us to communicate our needs, set healthy boundaries, and engage with others in a way that promotes mutual respect and understanding. By prioritizing quality over quantity in relationships, work, and personal pursuits, we cultivate deeper connections and more meaningful experiences. Ultimately, when we embody these principles, we not only enhance our own well-being, but also contribute to creating a world where compassion, clarity, and integrity thrive in all interactions.